I would say what we want to do first here, remember I said is really there's two triangles here. I would cover one of them up and then try to find like all the angles inside the triangle that we can figure out. Like we know this one's 28, we know that one's 53. I can figure out what z is right now. And some of you guys are like, well, why didn't he start with this side? I don't start with this triangle because there's two missing angles here. And I only know one of them. When there's two missing angles, you can't figure out the other. You can't figure out any one of these if you only have one. Okay. So I'm going to go to this side, and like how I did in questions 1, 2, and 3, to figure out z, all I need to do is take 180, subtract out these two that I know, 28 and 52. So when I do that, again, I'll take out the calculator. When you do that, you get 99. I'm just going to put 99 there. Now, the next one I find is y. And really, there's two different ways you can find y. There's two different ways you can find y. Since we just did the exterior angle theorem a second ago, I'm going to show you that. So if you look, watch, I'm gonna kind of redraw this triangle. If you look right now, this is 28, so we'll put 28 right there. This top one is 53, so I'm going to put 53 right there. I don't care about z because I already figured out the z's. But y is on the outside. And then that one is like the exterior angle theorem that we just used. I know this outside angle, which is y, will equal the measure of these two added up. 28 plus 53. That's 11, 5, 6, 7. That's 81. So that's what y equals. Okay, 81. Now there was another way. There was a different way we could have figured out y, and I'll show you over here on number 10 how we figure it out. The other way. For now, I'm leaving it that way. So then now I know this guy's 81 degrees. Okay, now I can say, hey, let's just look at this triangle and figure out x. Because now I know this is 81, this is 17. I'm only missing this angle. I can solve that angle by subtracting out the two that I know. Then it pretty much becomes like question 1. So then do 180 minus 81 minus 17, and we get 82. And that's what x is, 82. Okay, so we'll leave that. Kind of with the word. What was it, z? Z is 99. Okay, that way you can see it for a second, and then we're going to move on to number 2. Again, you'll have one like this in on the test. It's either going to look like this one or this one. Honestly, I think it looks more like this one, but I really can't remember. So let's move on. Let's move on to number 10. Number 10 again. I'm just going to tilt my paper so we can see the triangles a little bit easier. Cover one of the triangles up, and then ask yourself, can you solve this? Right now, you can't solve it because you don't know what this is, and you don't know what that guy is. There's two unknowns. Those are question marks. There's two unknowns. Okay. So I'm going to cover that guy up. I'm going to cover that one up and say, well, I can figure out what this one is. Even though I only have one angle measure up there, I know this bottom one is also 90 degrees. So then I can figure out angle 1, I can figure out angle 1. I'm going to turn it back this way by doing this. 180 minus the 90 that we just figured out here, and then minus the 32. So 180 minus 90 minus 32, then you get 58. So the measure of angle 1 is 58. Okay? So then we're pretty much done with that triangle, and then we need to figure out the other one. Over here, top of it. So I'm going to show you a different way to find this outside angle here. Because this one, this number 2 is pretty much in the same position as y is over here. So we could use the exterior angle theorem. Remember, we found y by adding these two up. So I could say angle 2 is these two added up. I'm going to show you a different way. So I just figured out that this one down here is 58 degrees, right? This one. I know these two make a linear pair. So to figure out the measure of angle 2, I do this. 180 minus 58 equals the measure of angle 2. 180 minus 58. So I know that's 122. Now again, remember I said I could have, if I wanted to find that, I could have done this. I could have added 90 and 32. Watch. 90 plus 32. Same thing. It's the same thing. So there's two different ways to find this outside angle measure. 122. I'm just going to put it in here. 122. And then I can find the angle 3. Let's cover that up a little bit. So for angle 3, it's 180 minus this one and minus this one. Oh, you guys can see that. And then you'll be left with the measure of angle 3. So do 180. I'm just typing it in the calculator. 180 minus 122 minus 25 is 33.